Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Uridium for the Commodore 64, programmed by Andrew Braybrook and published by Hewson. It was released for the Commodore 64 in 1986. I'm playing this game in a modern C64 full-sized console. I don't have an original Commodore 64 anymore, but these new C64 machines play these games just as well, and they have an HDMI output which makes them really easy to play just about anywhere. Also, I don't have to worry about tracking down an outdated monitor and hookups. The Commodore 64 had a lot of great games. I had a bunch when I was younger, but Uridium was not a game that I was aware of until the C64 showed up. As we get started, Uridium is the name of the final enemy ship in the game. I want to start with the music. This is the Commodore 64, and they had this great music chip that allowed some decent synth-type sounds that a lot of developers got really good at programming. Granted, this music is nothing compared to modern music or sound effects, but this was leagues over the Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and Intellivision consoles from that era. Uridium is introduced to us with an 80s aggressive-sounding synth track, and it really works great to get you a little psyched up for the game. It's a side-scroller, with some pretty intense firefights. Like a lot of games for the Commodore 64, there's no real story to follow, really, at least not a highly detailed one in any case. It's pretty simple here. The solar system is under attack by an enemy, and their ships are referred to as Super-Dreadnoughts. The ships are, apparently, draining resources from the various planets in the solar system and need to be stopped. The gameplay is basically you just flying around, destroying a bunch of smaller ships, and then the Super-Dreadnought ships. So, we shoot the obvious ships, and these are the ships that sort of show up and they're after you during various parts of the level, and then you have to shoot parts of the larger ship. After you've cleared as many obstacles as possible, eventually, an alert appears on screen and it tells you to land. When that happens, you gotta fly to the right of the Master Dreadnought ship and land your ship. After you land, apparently, your pilot pulls the power cords of the Dreadnought and it blows the Dreadnought up. It just does that off screen, you don't see it. After the ship is destroyed, the level's over and you move on to the next level. There are a total of 15 levels to beat in this game to effectively repel these invaders, and based on how difficult this game actually is, 15 levels is a tough ask. The gameplay is fast, and the one thing that I wish I had here was an auto-fire button. When I see runs online of people really succeeding at this game, I'm impressed, because this is a challenge. In the standard Commodore joystick that was included with the system, which was also the same as the original system back in the 80s, it's not a comfortable controller for this particular game. You have to press that button so fast, it is not comfortable. Luckily, the system I have takes a variety of USB controllers, and if I switch to an SNES-style controller, even though there are too many buttons that aren't used, it does work much better. A few things stand out with Uridium. First, the most important thing to mention is how fluid the ship maneuvers. You can redirect your ship, you can flip over backwards. It's fast, it's smooth, and it looks great. You can also control your speed. You can go faster or slower at will. And when you get used to how this moves, it's really nice to be able to control your ship like this. This is the type of game you really need to have focus here because it gets intense. If you don't have that focus, you're just going to crash into some sort of object before you even realize it's something you needed to avoid. The levels are laid out the same each time, which is nice, at least in terms of the Dreadnoughts. Level 1 is always the same as level 1, level 2, etc. There are many ships on that level that come at you from off screen, and there are many obstacles on the Dreadnought ship itself as well. But there are places you'll crash into. It's about you remembering where things are on the level, and it's going to take time to learn the differences, especially with all the different levels. When you destroy enough stuff, the game tells you it's time to land, and then you got to go to the landing strip on the surface of the ship. It took me a little while to figure that out, where it was exactly. You'll automatically land when you find the right spot, and then you're treated to a bonus game. It's just a pyramid game, and it offers you bonus points if you can time your selection correctly. Basically, you press the fire button when the bonus points flash, and if you do, you move up the pyramid. And then the bonus points are flashing even quicker. You press it again, you'll move up as far as you can until you fail. And after you get your bonus points or fail, you just get back into your ship and you fly away. And as you're flying away, the Dreadnought ship disintegrates below you. Then you advance to the next level. The next level's going to look different as well, which is really awesome. The Dreadnought's going to have a different design. It's going to have different colors sometimes too, which is great. It's awesome to have any type of variety. We're talking a Commodore 64 game here, and this is certainly many steps above the Atari 2600, and the Commodore had a bunch of things going for it in terms of gameplay for a lot of games. Granted, there were plenty of terrible games for the Commodore 64, but as far as side-scrollers go, if you like that style of game, This is definitely a good one. It's worth playing. Also, this game was actually reskinned for the NES. It was released as The Last Starfighter, which was an 80s movie. I don't have a copy of this game yet, but I'm going to track one down. Well, that's all I have for Uridium. Thanks for taking some time to check it out.